Welcome to our podcast, The Mystic Sisters, with me, Sarah, and Kelly. And today's episode, we're talking about the earth elementals and how to work with them. Each episode, we talk about different spiritual and magical topics. The earth elementals are high vibrational energies that work with nature. These are beings such as fairies, pixies, gnomes, elves. They are very connected. All the elementals are connected with nature and with the elements. There are elementals that work with earth, with the fire element, with water and with air. And today we're particularly looking at the earth elementals. So these are beings such as fairies, gnomes, elves, pixies, brownies. These energies can be found in woodlands, in forests, particularly maybe around trees, around flowers. When we go to forests or woodlands, we are around these energies, we're more likely to see them. This is where they live, and if we are ready to experience them, if we're ready to see them, they may show themselves to us. These beings, they are very healing. They work with healing nature and also with reconnecting humans to nature, because in our modern world a lot of humans have been taken away from nature, and they're currently working with us to help us reconnect with nature so we can heal the earth and heal ourselves. Also, the elementals, they help us with our spiritual development. Each of the different elementals work with different parts of nature. They each have their own jobs within nature. For instance, there's flower fairies that help with nurturing and growing the flowers. Each of these elementals have their own jobs within nature, and they invite us to work with them. But the elementals, unlike angels, they have their own free will, and they're not assigned to work with us like the angels are. They can choose to work with us if they want to, and we need to be ready to work with them. They'll only work with people who have a loving and high vibrational energy, people that want to heal nature, people that love nature, people who are pure at heart. They'll only work with people who are ready to be with them.
It's true. I did want to mention too that we also, this just came through from them because I feel them around me right now, that we also have to be respectful to them because they have their own jobs and things that they do. So we also have to be patient and not demanding either, like just be respectful of their time and be respectful of them as well.
Yes, if we're not respectful of them, they'll choose not to work with us. They'll only work with people who are respectful and loving. Just like people, they've got their own free will and they can choose to work with you if they want to.
Exactly.
Kelly's going to talk to us about her recent experience with fairies.
I went out into nature a few days ago so I could connect better with the fairies. So I went to this nature trail, but there was a lot of people there. So at first I felt I was having a hard time connecting. So what I did is I asked them for some signs, and they were showing me like butterflies and birds, and that way I was getting the signs to know that they were there. And then they were telling me that I wasn't that grounded, which is a true statement. You know, I have been having trouble grounding lately. So they told me to go barefoot. And once I went barefoot in nature, then I felt really good. I felt more connected, and it was easier for me to connect with them. And then once I did that, I actually felt, before I really connected with the fairies, I felt the Avalon Merlin energy around me, because I have a past life in Avalon, but also fairies are connected with it. So I was having moments where I was looking around and I'd see certain stones or things that reminded me of Avalon, and I was getting a brief vision of being like an Avalon in my past life with the elementals. So I thought that was really cool that I was starting to tap in with Avalon and then the elementals, and I saw like a white horse go past me. It's funny as I say that, my little black kitty just ran by me like a horse would. It's extra confirmation. And that's kind of funny. But then after that happened, I actually was able to meet a couple of flower fairies, which was the first time for me. And I felt really excited. And they gave off to me because they were helping me tune into my inner child so I could talk to them better. And I had this really like playful energy all of a sudden when they were around. It was so cool because I felt great. Like I felt so much better because before I was a little bit on guard because there was a lot of people around, and they were even telling me that it's harder to connect when there's a lot of people around because they don't, like when there's a lot of people around, especially the different energies that were in there, not all of the energies in that park were ready to connect with the fairies. So to make a long story short, when I was connecting to the flower fairies, I felt like a kid again. It reminded me of Peter Pan because that's probably like my favorite story as a kid. So I was just feeling kind of like Peter Pan energy, lighthearted and like really happy and giggly and stuff. And they were giving me a lot of advice as far as like even spiritual advice on how they were telling me to protect my energy. And, they were telling me like other ways of doing things, of protecting my energy. And because I asked them advice about that, I asked them if, they had any advice for me. And I asked them their names. There was two of them. One was Rose, but she was a little bit quieter. But the other one was Plum, and she was just so sweet and like funny. And I connected to her more. And she was really cute. She had like a little tulip hat on. It was like purple, and she was just really adorable. And besides telling me to protect my energy, they also, told me that I need to have more of a playful attitude and energy, like to connect with them more, but to keep doing that for my own life in general, because it will be better for me. And the only other thing that they really told me is they were worried about nature and stuff, like the pollution and things that were going on. And they were saying that they appreciate it when people help out more with nature and, helping out with the pollution and everything. So it was a brief meeting because in the park that I was in, there was a lot of people coming through. So it was brief that I encountered them, but they said that they could still connect with me if I want to tap in. I don't only have to be in nature. I could connect with them at home if I was to offer them like sweets or things like, leave stuff out like that I could connect with them here too. So they said that's another thing to, remember, that I can always talk to them again. So I thought that was really cool. And then the neat thing about it too is the past few days, I keep pulling cards from about Avalon. I keep getting like the Isle of Avalon. So that energy is still around me, that elemental Avalon energy. And I got it again this morning, that card. And I thought that was really wild. And I felt as soon as we started talking about the podcast and everything, and while you were talking, I felt the elementals around me, and they're trying to help me with my heart. Like I feel that. I feel they're helping me with my energy. Like they actually help raise my vibration for this podcast, because I'm going through a lot of purging right now and a lot of healing. And another cool thing is they pointed out to my peridot necklace that was used in Avalon, that it is a magical necklace. And I didn't realize that till they told me that today. I only thought it had to do with ancient Egypt, but it was actually a magical crystal that was used in Avalon. So that was cool too.
It's really cool. You talked about the fairies guiding you to ground yourself, and it is important to ground ourselves with working with the elementals. and they'll help us to do this as well, because we in our everyday lives we can fall out of balance, and the fairies will help us to find this balance and reconnect with the earth, because when we are grounded we feel more present and we feel more connected to the earth around us. So that's interesting that that they guided you towards grounding yourself, and then you were able to feel their energies.
Yeah, I'm glad they did that, because once I took my shoes off, it was like a whole different feeling. I felt very connected to the earth.
Yeah.
And it made me feel better too. It was like healing me. So I'm going to start doing that a lot more. I'm not even going to wear my shoes when I go on these nature trails, because it was such a better feeling. I'm like, I've done this in the past sometimes in different spots, but when I actually did it and walked, like in the past I would do it, I would just maybe sit down on a bench and take my shoes off. But it's different when you take your shoes off and you actually walk on the dirt. It was a whole experience for me. You know what I mean? I was like, I literally feel so connected to the earth right now. It was a good feeling.
Yeah, it's like a sense of freedom.
Yeah.
And the fairies, like you mentioned, they're also very connected to the heart chakra as well. And the heart chakra it's represented with the green energy, and just like the earth, it's very green. And the fairies, they can help with healing the heart as well, because when our hearts are full, we raise our vibration. When our hearts are full, we're more loving. So they can help us with healing as well. And it's also interesting that you're talking about Avalon as well. For those that don't know, Avalon it's thought of as a legend in the past, and people have questioned whether Avalon is real or not. And we feel Avalon did exist. It was a higher vibrational place. It was a place that was only accessed by people who were at that vibration. It was a different dimension. Avalon has Celtic connections and is very connected to the elementals as well. These energies worked in Avalon, and when Avalon existed, people were more in tune with nature, so the earth was at a high vibration. And so it's interesting that you were drawn back to your past life in Avalon at a time where you were more connected with nature, because me and Kelly have both experienced past lives in Avalon, and we met each other in past lives. We're in the same soul family, so we've had past lives together in Avalon, and we've experienced this high vibrational place and the elemental energies there.
It just came in mind. I have a tear in my eye now, because I think it's because they're working with me on healing my heart, but I've been very emotional lately. But it just reminded me of the past life when we were there, and we talked about this before the podcast, but when Avalon kind of fell apart, that's when the stuff we witnessed. So I just had like a flash of that. I don't know why I thought of that, but that flash just came in, and it just made me a little sad.
Yeah, because as the vibration of the earth lowered, and people started to turn away from nature and dark energies, then Avalon stopped existing on Earth as the energies lowered. But when our energies on this Earth raise again, Avalon will reappear, and other portals on Earth as well will reappear as the energies raise again. But we were thinking of doing another podcast in the future where we go in more depth on Avalon.
Yeah, because there is a lot more to talk about, and it's so interesting, all of it, because there's so much to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories about Avalon. There's lots of stories over the years, and yeah, so there's going to be a lot for us to talk about. So we'll do a more in-depth podcast on Avalon.
Yeah, and another thing that always comes to me, like from Avalon, besides the elementals, is the Lady in the Lake. I see her. The past few years I just get either visions or different, even the cards I have, like she'll appear. like the
Yeah.
oracle cards. And she's another one that's part of Avalon. I think that she's an important one too in there. Besides Merlin, the Lady in the Lake, I think is very healing.
Yeah. Yeah, and the element, she's very strongly connected to the water element, which is very healing.
Yeah. Oh, and that's another topic we're going to do too, is water elements. We've got a lot of topics.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a lot of ideas for future podcasts. We're going to talk about how to connect with the earth elementals, how to work with them, and also talk about the benefits of working with them as well. When we work with the elementals, they're very healing. The elementals, they can help us with healing our heart chakra, like Kelly experienced. They also bring more optimism into our lives, because the fairies, they have a very childlike energy. They're very pure, and they can help us with connecting to these feelings of wonder and optimism. And we'll start, as you work with the fairies more, you'll start to notice the beauty around you, and you'll develop this sense of wonder about the earth and about life. And also the fairies, they also help us with finding our own freedom, attracting abundance, and also they can help us with becoming more aware of nature, and help us with developing more empathy towards nature, and they help us to heal nature.
Yeah, definitely. Also, they help us with our creative side, and
Yeah.
they can help you be more. Yeah, they can help you be more creative, and that inner childlike innocence, they can help you work on your inner child. But it was really cool how they helped me do that. It's like they were just reminding me of things that I used to love as a kid and things that I used to like a lot, and they were telling me to bring it back, like they were even showing me like a little because I used to love like little tea parties and things, as a kid. But even in my 20s, I used to love getting like little tea sets and stuff. And I'm like, they were showing me that. They're like, you could still have fun and little tea parties and invite them with some
So
sweets,
Yeah, like a tea party as well.
Yeah, because I'm like, that would be fun.
Yeah. The energies are very uplifting. They bring us humor, and they uplift our energies. And if you're a creative person or you work on a creative project, they can help you find inspiration.
Yeah, definitely. They do that.
We're going to talk about ways that you can connect with the earth elementals. One way you can connect with the earth elementals is developing a stronger relationship with the earth, and with looking after the earth around you, cleaning the earth. You may want to pick up litter outside. You may want to give to environmental charities. You may want to plant trees, flowers, something that helps you to give to the earth is a good way of connecting with the fairies. They like when we are respectful and loving towards the earth, and they can help us to develop a stronger empathy towards nature.
That's true. Even the animals, they wanted me to talk about that a little bit, is like the stray animals, like maybe the stray cats. A lot of people will tend to shrug that off and stuff, but that's very important. They want us to respect all animals too, like the stray animals, and to help them as well.
Yeah, the fairies, they're very, as you said, very connected with animals. They love animals too, and they can heal animals, and they help us to connect with the animals, because on our earth, sadly, there's lots of animals that go extinct, and they want to help us with healing the earth, and with helping the animals. They want to help us to feel more in tune with the animals, so there's not this divide between us and animals, that we work together and we love the animals around us.
Exactly. I feel very in tune. There's some stray animals that are outside of my place, and I feel so connected to them, especially one in particular. He's orange. I call him Orange Kitty, but he's he's kind of like the head of the stray cats. He's like their leader. But he's just such a tough little guy, but I love him. He's like very sweet at the same time. And now the animals know when I come out that they can trust me because we built a connection. So I feed them whenever I can and I'll go out there, but they're just very, very sweet. Once you show that you can, you know, because they can be timid at first, but once they know they can trust you, they're so loving, and animals in itself are very healing too.
Yeah, and sometimes the fairies, they can help to guide the animals to us. Like if there's a stray animal that needs love or healing, they can help to guide them to us to help, or they can guide, or if we need healing, if we're feeling down, they can guide a cat to us, or a dog, an animal to us to help us heal, help us feel better.
That's how I feel that Orange Kitty was guided to me, because I feel that they sent him to me because I've been feeling down. So he raises my spirit, but also there was a newer one, this one black cat, something happened to his eye, and I felt he was sent to me because I've been healing his eye with my Reiki healing. And it looks like it's starting to get better, but whenever I see him, I try to give him as much healing as I can. So that was really nice that they, that we're able to connect like that.
Yeah, that's really sweet. Another way that we can work with the fairies is with gratitude. They like it when we show appreciation for them and for nature, and practicing a daily gratitude ritual, a gratitude journal, can help with connecting to the fairies. And you may want to say it aloud or write down your great gratitude for nature. And also you can give gratitude to the elementals, to the fairies, by leaving offerings for them. The fairies, they love sweet things, so you may want to leave fruit or sweets and honey. They love sweet things, and this will attract them to your garden. Also, they like pretty and sparkly things. You can leave out crystals for them. You can create a space in your garden, if you've got a garden, or otherwise create an altar in your home, which will attract their energy. And you can leave out offerings to show your gratitude, such as sweet foods and crystals, pretty things such as jewelry. Also flowers as well. They love flowers. If you don't have a garden, you can keep indoor plants in your house, and you can leave some offerings around these plants. You may want to
like the little it's cute. I made them. I have this one little, I guess you'd call it an altar, but it's like an old desk. And what I did is I put all earthy stuff. I put I love collecting pine cones, so I made it kind of like an earthy scene. And then I made the fairies this cute little fairy bed, and I put in it like a little ring, but I put crystals in it for them. And there's sea glass and other shiny things that I know that they would like. So I made this little space, and it's actually in my kitchen because my place is small, but I thought it was cool because that's where I keep all my earthy things, like the pine cones and stuff.
That sounds really nice. You can plant colourful flowers in your garden. I'm planting some colourful flowers in my garden to attract the fairies. Some people use fairy doors. You can buy these pretty doors for the fairies you can put outside. Creating a beautiful environment to attract the fairies, it expresses your gratitude. Some people may have fairy ornaments that they have inside or outside, or animal ornaments. Just creating this special space just to welcome them, to show them that you acknowledge them and you welcome them and you're grateful for their appearance in your life.
Yeah, I did one a few times in the past. I don't have a garden now, unfortunately, where I live, but a few years back when I was in North Carolina, I had a little garden, a small little one outside my place. And it was really cool. I got this one pot and I put all this dirt in it, and I grew, in that particular one, I think I was growing tomatoes, but I bought all these cool little fairy and gnomes and just like tiny furniture to make a little spot for the fairies to hang out. So when I went outside, we could chill together. But I had so much fun creating it because I was always excited. And I had so many different pots and plants. I was like, okay, I would get different flowers too. And each time I'd go to the store, I'd find tiny little furniture. I'm like, oh my God, how cute is this? And I'd make little, just like a whole little scene, like they had their own little house.
That's sweet.
And also years ago, and I'm going to do this again soon because I don't have a garden. Me and my oldest daughter, we bought a kit. You can buy them still. I looked it up, like a fairy kit. It's cool. It's like a little, I think it's like a plastic dish and it has dirt and like you can grow some things in there, but they have like little fairy figurines. If they call it like a fairy house or garden or something. And I remember having that and I want to get that again because it was just so cute.
It sounds really sweet.
Yeah, now that I think about it, it's funny because I'm more connected ever since you and I met, I'm more connected to the fairies again because you helped me open that up because my heart, I think, was a little closed off, but you've helped me tap more into that. But as I think back, when I was more unconscious to the fairies, I always wanted fairy things. Like in my youngest, in her bedroom, I literally made a whole fairy scene for her. It was so pretty too. It was light lilac, and I bought the fairy wallpaper, like all these little fairy figurines around her whole room. It was all fairy pictures. And then as I painted, I threw glitter coming down from the fairies, like it was a magical scene. And her whole room was all fairies as a baby.
Oh, that's sweet. Sounds really nice.
It was so much fun. I was like, oh, I think Mom is having more fun. Well, she had no idea. She was just a baby what was going on, but I had more fun with it than she did. I love sitting in that room. I had a rocking chair and everything in there, and I'm like, this is like one wild little room. It was like entering into a magical zone, you know?
Yeah, that sounds really nice. The fairies like working with children as well. They like to be around children.
I think that's
that same childlike that energy as children have.
I think that's why she's so magical. It's funny, out of my two kids, I wonder if it's because I was always putting so much around her as a baby, but she's very magical. She can read tarot cards and stuff already, and she's only like 22, but she was always kind of tapped in like I was as a kid, but she's actually more advanced than I was at her age. She's very like in tune with nature and everything.
Oh, that's really nice. She's had the fairies around her from a young age.
Yeah, they're still around her.
That's really nice.
She loves the outdoors.
She must be elemental soul. She's got a strong connection with the fairies.
Oh yeah, like she's out in California now, and my daughter Gianna's so very, very like protective of the earth, not liking pollution. And when there's forest fires, she does everything she can to try to protect the earth because she's so connected to it, and she's so in tune with not just the elementals, but the elements in general. She can actually redirect. She was telling me, she's like, Mom, when I'm really in touch with the earth and I'm outside, she goes, I think I'm somehow redirecting some of the forest fires. I'm like, that's wild.
She's very clever.
She'll do anything she can to protect the earth.
Oh, that's nice. The fairies, they'll help us. They'll work with us to help heal the earth. They can help us with healing even big disasters like fires. They can work with us to help us with that energy because they're very powerful healers.
That's so true.
Yeah, because sometimes fairies, they're sad when they see these things happening, particularly when there's man-made disasters, and it really hurts them to see this. So they want to work with us. They're ready to. Those of us that are ready to work with them, they want to help us with raising the vibration of the planet and with healing our earth.
You know, what just came across me. It's funny you say that because that's exactly what they said. And I got that emotion from them that they were very sad at some of the stuff that's going on now with, people either polluting or just leaving garbage and stuff in the parks. I still see it when I walk through there. People aren't mindful and they'll just drop whatever, and it makes them very sad. And you know what else? It kept coming through while I was there is like a song that Jim Morrison actually sang. And it was this lyric, what have they done to their earth? What have they done to our fair sisters? They ravaged her, ripped her. So he was in tune with that too.
Yeah. He's very spiritual.
Yeah, his life as Jim, he knew. And it's funny that song was coming across as the fairies were kind of sad about that, the pollution. That song came in my head. What have they done to our earth,
In the past, when the earth was a high vibration, the fairies worked alongside us. But because of the dark stuff that's been going on earth, they've hidden themselves away more, but they're coming out more and more as there are more awakened souls, as the vibration of the earth is raising. They are appearing to more people. And if you see the fairies, you may see them as an orb of energy. Often people see them as a bright coloured orb of energy. That's how they appeared to me. I've seen bright yellow orbs, and they move very quickly as well. They've got a very fast energy. They're very small. The energy is very intense, and they're very quick moving. So if you are meditating in nature like Kelly did, and you're feeling relaxed, and if you're ready to see the fairies as well, you may witness these tiny orbs of bright light moving around.
Yeah. And it's cool because it's not just the light you could see. Like if you're really ready, you could see besides the light, you can also see like if they want to show you their form, if they feel that you're ready, you could see what they look like too.
They may not show you all of them, but they may show you parts of their face. You may see their eyes looking through. So I've seen the eyes appearing, and they've got quite very beautiful and very intense eyes. You might see the eyes, or you might see part of them. They may show their physical form to you in meditation as well.
Yeah, because I was lucky enough to see some of that, like you mentioned, the eyes, but more, I did see briefly like her little body, but it was so cute, the little flower hat. That's what I remember the most. Is I'm like, that's the cutest thing that I've ever seen, was like a little tulip on her head, and I'm like, that's so sweet.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, Mystic Sisters, with Sarah and Kelly. We'll be back again next week with the next episode.